Hello, my name is Meagle, and this is my guide and jungling build for the newest Heroes character Zagara. Note that this is alpha and things may still change before the release. Zagara on paper is meant to be a pusher, however in my opinion she isn't a good pusher past the first wave of forts, since she doesn't have a good escape option until level 20 and isn't very durable. So going deep into enemy territory for her is a much bigger risk than for say a Murky or an Abathur. She is however an extremely capable jungler. Heading straight for Merc camps at level 3 and spending much of the game soloing them seems to be a very viable strategy, with a big payoff for a team that can accommodate this style by not giving up lanes and keeping the enemy preoccupied. First of all, here's the talent build I use. For the first tier, Ventral Sacs, an extra roachling to tank jungle mobs with. Second tier, Envenom Spines. Other talents are usable, but the extra range really helps when you need to team fight over tributes and other objectives. Third tier, Rapid Incubation. This talent allows for mana and health regeneration, the mana regeneration being key since you want to be able to spam Zagara's abilities to keep going to the next Merc camp or back to lane. Fourth tier, Devouring Maw. Nidus sounds great on paper, but in reality you have to travel close to your destination to put down an easily killed Nidus point anyway, which defeats a lot of the purpose. Devouring Maw is also a great teamfight ability. Fifth tier, Roof Spines for your Hydra. I've had many occasions where they kill someone after I've already died on Zagara. Note that you can also train your Hydras to enemy structures. Sixth tier, Brood Expansion. Having 2 Hydras really helps both in jungle and in team fights. Seventh tier, Bolt of the Storm. It's unfortunate it comes this late in the game, but at least this gives Zagara an escape mechanism for the melee assassins and warriors that like to go on her in team fights. Your typical game should start with you laning through level 3. Try to use your Q and E to push the lane, and your W to harass opponents. Once you hit level 3, take a drink at the fountain, then go to the nearest and safest ogre camp, which you should be able to solo relatively quickly. The best method is to start with a creep tumor for extra regen, then infested drop onto both to deal damage and create roachling tanks. Follow this immediately with your Hydra on one, then Baneling barrage between them. Focus the one your Hydra is on, and tank the damage a little until your infested drop is off cooldown. Repeat until they're down, earth if necessary. Often you'll ding level 4 mid-fight, pick up Envenom Spikes quickly for the extra damage. On Blackheart's Bay you'll want the bottom lane. Take the bottom lane as well on Dragonshire, and the top lane on Haunted Mines. On Cursed Hollow take the top lane if you're on the western team, and the bottom lane if you're on the eastern one. On Dragonshire and Haunted Mines, it's easy to steal your opponent's nearby ogre camps. However, make sure your team is aware of this and that your opponents aren't missing anyone. Also worth noting is that on Blackheart's Bay, there is a small mercenary camp composed of pirates for extra coins immediately above your ogre camp. This can be an easy next stop. Once you take down your first camp of ogres, you should be level 4 or 5, and Zagara is now ready to take down knight camps. Again, start with a creep tumor, then carefully infest a drop so that it hits all 4 knights. Train your Hydra on the smallest knight, and also single target it yourself after your Banelings on the front 3. Simply repeat until they're all down. This process gets faster and faster as you gain levels. Worth noting are the map differences. You're very safe getting knights ASAP on Dragon Shrine, and likewise Cursed Hollow, so long as you pay attention. Blackheart's Bay also has a safe knight capture, but the one on the bottom of the map is a different matter. Make sure you have creep trailing to an escape route in case you're discovered here. On Haunted Mines, it's often best to get them with the rest of your team just before the mines open, since this is often a majorly contested point. As you can see here, you can also steal your opponent's knights fairly easily and early in the game. However, this is taking a big risk. Be very aware of where the enemy team is before you try this maneuver. Finally, we have the Grave Golems. There are of course the normal Grave Golems, and then the one in the Haunted Mines central area. They're actually fairly different in difficulty. It is in fact very easy to go straight for the Haunted Mines Golem the moment the mines open, and solo it yourself. This can throw enemies for a loop when they see your teammates elsewhere. Try to hit the Golem without your Roachlings or Hydras out first to see if you can draw his AoE hit. If so, it's safe to spam both rapidly and DPS. Otherwise try to have only one or the other out until he slams, so you have something to tank with most of the time. The same general strategy holds for the outside Grave Golems. However, I wouldn't recommend that you sold them to at least level 14, and ideally level 16 when you have 2 hydras you can put out to tank with. At this point, however, they go down easily to you, and it can be a real shock for an opponent who thinks that your team is absorbed in other activities, suddenly have a grave golem beating down their lane. In terms of maps, it's mostly the same as Knights. You're fairly safe on Dragon Shrine Cursed Hollow, but have to be very wary trying to get the golem on Blackheart's Bay. Finally, it should be noted that you need to be ready and willing to drop your merking to join teamfights for objectives when necessary, especially tributes and capping shrines. In teamfights, keep your distance and try to spam your Roachlings and Hydras and catch people with your Maw whenever you can. If you play this strategy correctly, however, your opponents will have to deal with many waves of mercenaries earlier and more often than expected, which will help your team secure the objectives much more efficiently. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to ask questions or comment below.